This is the month of Ramadan, and the vast majority of Muslims are hearing and making heartfelt prayers for our brothers and sisters in Gaza. We are watching a genocide unfold before our eyes, and the absolute horror of it is that our politicians and leaders are greenlighting it. But some Muslims have shown incredible error of judgment to conclude that it is acceptable to break bread with these genocide enablers. Later on in this video, I'll share with you some of the images coming out of those meetings and events. Let's be clear from the outset, this disgusts us all. These people do not speak for us, but most of the time, we Muslims stay quiet and keep the disgust to ourselves. Not this time. I asked myself, if my own son or daughter were in Gaza right now and facing starvation and bombs, could I ever bring myself to breaking bread with men who cheerled my oppressors' violence and even supplied the arms to them? Of course not. Now, my ethical code is my religion, and my religion teaches me that all Muslims, indeed all humanity, is like one big body. So it is actually like my son or daughter are in Gaza right now, facing starvation and bullets. Not only can I not sit down in a chummy way with these genocide enablers, I cannot but call out when others do it too. Exhibit 1. An Iftar at Speaker House in Parliament, organised by the APPG on British Muslims and the Ramadan Tent Project. You will see we have blurred out the images as our purpose for this video is not to shame anyone, but to make a point. Usually this kind of iftar is an important part of engaging with Westminster. It is actually really important to meet politicians of all hues and colours, those who agree with you and those who don't. That's the nature of the political game. But the unfortunate things about this event was literally the week before Lindsay Hoyle effectively blocked a vote on the ceasefire, and then dog whistled at pro-Palestine protesters as the reason why he did it, which then resulted in a big spike in Islamophobic attacks across the country. I get that these events are arranged long before and it is very hard to cancel them at the last minute, and the APPG itself needs to maintain a relationship with the Speaker of the House. I get that the APPG do important and good work. They are definitely one of the good guys and our voice in Parliament. But this iftar going ahead and so publicly celebrated was just missing the mood of the Muslim community completely. Just look at Twitter to know that I'm right. And to reiterate, we get that politics is not all fire and brimstone. If you had a private dinner with politicians, including Lindsay Hoyle, to maintain ties and softly put across your concerns, we could have seen the merit of that. But this was just terrible timing, and to publicly celebrate it was out of touch. Exhibit 2. Regent's Park Mosque hosted Rishi Sunak for a brilliant photo op for him. Wikipedia has some revealing info about the funding of Regent's Park Mosque as well as its leadership. It has historically received strong patronage from the Middle Eastern regimes who are currently hand-wringing in response to what is happening in Gaza. So not a massive surprise, the current leadership are happy to show genocide Rishi around. If someone was supporting bombings of my children and their starvation, I certainly wouldn't be smiling at the camera and showing them around my masjid and giving them a nice photo op. The final exhibit is an iftar hosting Keir Starmer, David Lammy, Shabana Mahmood and others. Keir Starmer, the man who said Israel had a right to block food, water and electricity going into Gaza, and who still does not believe we should cut military ties or arms sales with Israel. David Lammy and Shabana Mahmood, who abstained on the ceasefire vote in November 2023 and who Muslim voters feel completely betrayed by. Giving Keir a platform to say, he reaffirmed the Labour Party's commitment to combating Islamophobia and ensuring a fair and inclusive society for all. Addressing the conflict in Gaza, Starmer emphasised the need for an immediate ceasefire, the safe return of hostages, and an end to the killing of innocent Palestinians. And again, if you did it privately just to maintain influence and ties, fine. Organizations who organize iftars like this are actually very important for doing this work, and they do it well. If you quietly and in a friendly way gave them the constructive feedback that being a genocide cheerleader is not a good look, that is fine and good. But to celebrate it publicly right now, madness. And it gives them what they want, legitimacy and a photo op. And let's deal head on with the usual response. Brother, we need to have a seat at the table if we are to make a change. We cannot just stand on the outside. We need to be talking to the decision makers rather than just protesting and shouting ineffectually from the outside. Are we seriously making that claim now? This servant mentality is what led us here. Our leadership has consistently bowed down to the Nawab Sahib, and just bobbed our head in a deferential manner, just ecstatic that someone in power is even looking at us, even if they are in fact looking down at us. They don't take us seriously, and nor should they if that is how we've behaved. The truth is, politicians need the carrot and the stick, and we've not used any stick over several decades, and that's when we get taken advantage of, a soft target for Labour to exploit. And that's why we end up having arch-Zionists like Mike Gapes elected from Muslim-heavy constituencies over several years. How embarrassing is that? And given we're on the topic of Gaza, let's see how the Zionists do their politics. Do they bow their heads and give simpering smiles in cringeworthy photo ops in parliament? Or do they show their teeth? They absolutely show their teeth. They got Mehdi Hassan's show cancelled. They got senior leaders at elite US universities removed. They have got dozens of people fired or going through disciplinary measures across the country. They were key players in getting Jeremy Corbyn removed. They stopped Alan Duncan getting ministerial positions, it is alleged, due to his pro-Palestine views. Their pressure got the BBC chief hauled in front of Tory MPs to defend their coverage. The list goes on. But no. Brother, we need to play nice. That's the only way. Guys, you're in a toxic relationship. No matter how much he abuses you, you will take it and defend him and be gaslighted into thinking you're the bad guy. That is the Labour relationship with Muslims right now. And like any toxic relationship, the only way to deal with it is to stand up for yourself, set boundaries, or end the relationship. Let me put it another way. The USA abstained from a UN Security Council vote on the ceasefire. It didn't vote for it. It abstained. That angered Netanyahu so much, he cancelled his visit to the USA to see Joe Biden. If Netanyahu can get so upset at an abstention that he cancels a meeting with the most powerful man on the planet, then Muslims who attend these events claiming it will build influence have no leg to stand on. Netanyahu, for all of his sins, really does know how to gain influence in politics. Learn from him. And finally, guys, there has to be a line. Beyond that line, we can't be breaking bread with someone because they have stood for something so evil or done something so evil it is beyond the pale. Can you imagine an iftar with Fir'aun after he killed all the male babies of the children of Israel and justifying it by saying, no, but brother, we need a seat at the table and he's not that bad? There has to be a line. Because if there is no line, we are just lapdogs. We don't care at all what our politicians do. We will still cozy up to them. But the Muslim vote has a red line. Genocide and ethnic cleansing is that line. If you supported that in any way, we cannot support you or cozy up to you. In 20 years, when our children ask us, what did you do when the Gaza genocide was taking place? At least then we will have a leg to stand on. If you agree with what was said, please make sure you join the Muslim Vote mailing list. The answer to our problems comes through unity and coordination, and you signing up will enable that. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with the friends and family. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.